Hi guys, today I'm going to be interviewing Rachel from the channel KawaiiSweetWorld. You guys already know that I love Rachel's channel because she makes just the best desserts and she makes them look super cute, and she's also a really great person. So I'm really excited to interview her, and if you guys want to learn a little bit more about Rachel, just keep watching. So my first question to you is, where does your love for baking and doing all things kawaii come from?
I would say that baking definitely comes from my mom because my mom was like such a big baker when I was growing up. We always had like cakes and brownies and stuff around the house. So I was always like eating it, and I have such a huge sweet tooth. So I just kept baking what she was doing, and eventually got to the point where I could bake by myself and stuff, even though I was using like box mix stuff a lot of
Right.
times. But when you're like 10 years old, you don't really care if it's like a box mix brownie. And then Kawaii, I think, San Francisco, Japantown. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
They have a lot of really cute stuff there. So I went there for like the first time when I was younger, and everything was just so cute, and I like wanted to buy everything. And then it just kind of combined the two together, and yeah, now I have kawaii baking things.
Then why did you decide to start your YouTube channel?
It's funny because actually, when I was younger, I used to make like polymer clay charms. Like in my really old videos, you can see them. And so I wanted to enter a contest to make some clay charms and things, but you had to give like a video submission to do it. And so then I was like, well, I don't have a YouTube channel. Should I start one to enter it? And I thought, why not? And so then I just went for it. Didn't win the contest, but it was still a really great experience because that's what made me start my channel. And then I just kept going with it.
So this is like you go to school full time. So how do you manage to keep up with all of your work in addition to YouTube?
Usually it just comes down to really good time management. So I don't have a lot of free time to do like social activities and things, but I do Key Club. I don't know if you guys have that in
No,
Poland.
no, we don't.
No.
I've never.
Okay,
Sorry.
so Key Club's like community service, and
Okay.
so I do that also. So that's a great way to like hang out with my friends and get volunteer hours at the same time. So that way I don't lose out on the social aspect. And then also just balancing schoolwork and YouTube. It just comes down to like having a really strict schedule.
Mhm.
So like Friday I gotta study for the SAT, Saturday I finish all my homework, and then Sunday I devote to YouTube stuff. And that way it just all kind of works out.
Yeah. So do you think that you'll do YouTube full time after college?
Hmm. It's hard to say. I definitely want to go to a computer science major because I think that computer science and computer programming is super interesting, especially since there's not a lot of girls in the field right now. So I really wanted to pursue that. So then after college, I think I'll probably want to do it as a hobby, at least part time, because I can't see like letting go of YouTube, because it's so much fun. So yeah, hopefully after college I can pursue it as a hobby.
Yeah. And you usually post a lot of things that are kawaii, but do you think that you'll ever kind of go away from that and start showing other types of foods?
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know if we could let go of the kawaii aspect of it because I just think it's so cute and it's really what makes it my own. You kind of put
Hmm.
your own twist on it with the kawaii aspect of it.
Right.
I also have to admit I'm not a very good cook, like actually making like dishes and things.
Okay.
So I'll probably stick to baking and kawaii stuff.
Hmm. And what do you feel are the highs and lows of YouTube since you've been in that industry for so long?
The high point is definitely, interacting with subscribers and seeing comments and things on Instagram. That's definitely the high point. That's like what I do it for, when you see like a picture of something someone's made on Instagram. I'm sure you've had that before,
Hmm.
It's super gratifying. The low point, and for me, it's really just being busy with it because balancing schoolwork, key club, I do ballet also.
Right.
All of that, just makes me really a busy person. But other than that, I really love YouTube.
What's your favorite utensil to use in the kitchen? Because you obviously have all these like creative molds and everything. So,
That's a really interesting question. My favorite utensil, if I was gonna pick like spatula or whatever, probably spatula. It's like so handy. It just like
right.
does everything. You can scrape the bowl, you can mix it. Like it's so versatile. And where I buy my things from, a lot of times it's like Japantown. Like I said, they have a lot of cute little molds and things. I love Sur La Table, Williams Sonoma. Yeah, those places.
And when you do kawaii things, what's the most important thing to remember? Because you obviously have to be really intricate with all your designs and everything.
Usually for me, I just have to remember to not get like too serious with it because when you're working with like the little tiny thing and you got your toothpick and you're like really into it, it's hard to just let it go because you realize that if it's that small, the details are just so tiny on camera. So really, just paying attention to detail.
What are your favorite characters to recreate in desserts?
For me, I think Rillacoon was one of my favorites because he's like a really simple character that's easy to create, but he's also still like super cute. Hello Kitty is like surprisingly hard to recreate because her proportions really make her, unique and Hello Kitty, and to get those just right is really hard. But I think Rillacoon was really cute. Hello Kitty is awesome, just a little bit harder.
Right, yeah. And since you've been in the YouTube industry for a while, you've probably interacted with a lot of YouTubers online or in person. So who are some of the coolest people that you've met?
You, for one. It's awesome to be, friends with you and do collabs with you and
For
stuff.
sure, yeah.
Um, Mosa Gourmet was like the first big collab that I did, and that was a really cool moment because I was like starting out my channel. I was just getting into the baking things. I think it was like maybe a year or two into my channel, and then that was really awesome to collab with them and meet them in person
Yeah.
because I had been a fan of them even before I had a YouTube channel, and so to meet them in person and collab with them was like so cool.
And you've worked with networks such as like DreamWork and ISA TV, so what was that like as an experience?
For DreamWorks, I didn't actually, meet anyone there. I did the video for Awesomeness TV, the Android Cake Pops. That was really cool. That was like the most professional shoot that I've done, and that was a really great experience. A little bit overwhelming, like so many people, but once you get on camera and you're just, into your element, it's really fun. And then ISATV, they were all so nice. The guys from Wong Fu are like just as nice and funny as they are in their videos, and it was definitely a learning experience, but still super fun.
You've already said who you've met and who you like collaborating, but who are some of the people that you look up to on YouTube? Because there's a whole lot of great channels.
Yeah, definitely. I would say one of my biggest YouTube inspirations is Michelle Phan. Even though she doesn't do like baking videos and cooking videos, she really pioneered that beauty community on YouTube, which I really admire. And she's done so much with YouTube with, her product lines. She has like two brands and she has a book now and she just works so hard. So I really admire her on YouTube.
And do you think that you plan to do anything? What's next for Kawaii Sweet World? Like, would you like to do a cookbook, or would you like to start another channel?
Mhm. For me, the dream would probably be to have a product line and just have like Kawaii Sweet World bowls and molds and things because I think like cake molds would be so cool because then you could have like bear cake molds and things and it would be really cute. So yeah,
And you'd be really great at that too. Like, it would be so easy to just find your product online.
yeah, that would be really cool.
And like, if you were stranded on a deserted island and you could only eat one thing, what would it be, and why?
If I was to not think about any kind of nutritional value, then probably my favorite dessert is chocolate molten cake because it is just like super rich and chocolatey, and I have like a huge chocoholic sweet tooth. So that's my favorite dessert. I'd have to bring that with me, I would say. And it's also easy to make, not like a chocolate souffle, which is like super technical and complicated. A chocolate molten cake is actually really easy. So.
Have you shown that on your channel?
No, I haven't. I have to post my recipe for that because I don't know, it's really good. But I've always been scared to film it because it depends so
Right,
much
yeah.
on the timing of it.
Hmm.
When you cut it open, it's got to be molten and perfect.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're doing it on camera, it's like if you cut it open, it's just like awkward. It's all good.
Yeah. No, for me also, like, I tend not to keep my dessert at home. Like, I try to get rid of it because I'll eat it all. So with molten lava cake, like, you have to have people over, like, at that very time. So I feel kind of awkward doing that.
I,
Yeah. But
yeah.
speaking of that, like, for me, I always find it awkward to tell people about my YouTube channel at school. So have you experienced the same thing with yours?
Yeah, for me, it definitely happened like all at once because, like Humans of New York City.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
institute, yes. Then we have one for like Piedmont High School. I think you have one for your school
Yeah,
also.
we do.
And so yeah, so then someone asked me like, well, what's something that most people don't know about you? So then I mentioned my YouTube channel, and then it was just like everybody found out at once, all at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was pretty overwhelming. And then that page was managed by the yearbook staff actually, so all my teachers knew about it also, and it was just like everybody coming to me talking about it and stuff. So that was overwhelming, but I'm definitely glad that it's out in the open now because then I can just openly talk about it with my friends and stuff. And if I'm busy, it's not just like, oh, I'm busy, sorry. It's like I can explain, yeah, I have YouTube
Yeah.
videos to work on.
Like, yeah. So outside of YouTubing, what are some of your other interests?
I think, like I mentioned earlier, I love dance and ballet. Um, Definitely ballet has been really great for me. I've done like I think 11 years of ballet experience now. So that's a really, passion of mine. And it's the only way I can get exercise because I am like terrible at sports. So luckily there's ballet. Other than that, like volunteer work, community service, I volunteer usually every weekend with our Key Club. And it's great because I'm president this year of our club. So
Congratulations.
it's definitely more work, but I still love it.
So what exactly do you do in Key Club?
Yeah, Key Club is community service club and it's like international also. So basically, I try to organize an event every weekend where we can volunteer. Usually, it's something different every weekend. So like we volunteer at marathons, doing weeding, yard work, stuff like that, and like baking pies at homeless shelters and things like that. It's really fun. So
Yeah, that's really nice. So is that how you kind of like, because you obviously bake a lot, so what do you do with all your leftovers?
I always bring it to school, and it actually works out really well because we have Key Club meetings on Tuesdays, and if I film on the weekend, usually it's still good enough to bring to a meeting on Tuesday. So it's like everything that I make from my videos, I use to bribe people to come to our Key Club meetings. So yeah, I usually bring it all to school. Otherwise, I'll just eat it myself.
That's a really good idea. I need to try that. Like just bribe people to come to meetings. And is there anyone who helps you make your videos, or are you like a one man show, one person show?
If anybody would be my mom, just asking her like, oh, do you think I should do a bear or a bunny or stuff like that? But other than that, it's really kind of like a one-man show where I'm downstairs in my basement, filming by myself. I just have like, the remote and then editing it myself, uploading myself. So yeah.
And I saw that I mean you have a new studio and it's amazing, but before that you said you used your bedroom.
Oh yeah, in the very beginning, I was using my bedroom just to film like polymer clay charm videos and like poppin' cooking and stuff. And then I moved downstairs to our kitchen table, but then I bought like the lights and the umbrellas and stuff, and that was a little bit overwhelming for our dining room area.
Hmm.
And I wanted to be able to leave it up also, so that's what led me to make the kitchen studio downstairs. And then also I could just make it like a kawaii paradise
Right.
and use whatever kind of decor I like. So
And you said you said your mom helps you a lot, but are is your family generally supportive of your channel?
yeah, my family is definitely super supportive of my channel. Like when I filmed the ISA series and the video for Awesomeness TV, they all came down to LA with me to just watch and be like morally supportive. So yeah, they're definitely super supportive of my channel.
That's really nice. Yeah, I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So, that's all I have for you today. So thank you so much for doing this interview with me. It was a lot of fun talking to someone who's my age and someone
I
whose channel I really like. So thank
I
you.
know, I was like looking forward to this too.
Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Don't forget to check out Rachel's channel. All her links will be down below and I highly recommend you watch her videos because they are so cute. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked watching it and I will see you next time. Bye bye.